AITA for telling my bio sister I'm sorry she wasn't adopted, but that doesn't have anything to do with me and I owe her nothing? I, 25M, was placed in the foster system by my bio parents when I was 2 years old. I was adopted some time later by my real parents. I recognize that I'm extremely fortunate and lucky to have been adopted before I had any real memory of the system, and that my parents gave me a better life than I would have ever had if I had stayed with my bio parents. I grew up privileged, went to private schools, had holidays abroad, and had my tuition paid fully when I started uni. I was loved, and never lacked anything. I currently have a well-paying job as chemical engineer, a beautiful wife, a house paid off fully by my in-laws, and 2 children. I'm very grateful for everything I have and recognize that I would be leading a very different life had I not been adopted. Last year I was contacted by Opal, 27F, who claimed I was her brother and wanted to meet up. After careful consideration I agreed. After doing a DNA test together and digging a bit into family history, Opal and I discovered that we were placed into foster care around the same time. Usually foster care will try to keep siblings together, but for some reason we were not registered as siblings and were placed into different foster homes, probably due to having a different dad/surname, and being given up by different people. Opal got very upset by this discovery, even more so after she found out that while she was never adopted, I had lived a good life with loving parents. After the discovery, Opal started calling and asking to hang out with my parents and I, or asking me to do certain favors for her. It got uncomfortable really quickly since, to be frank, I don't know her that well, in all aspects except genetically she is a total stranger to me. I don't feel comfortable lending her money or introducing her to my entire family. She even made a couple of comments that made me uneasy when she asked me if I thought my parents would have adopted her also had they known she existed when I was adopted, and if I think they would accept her into the family now. Last night she called me again, this time to complain how she saw that the women in my family had a get-together over the weekend and how she felt excluded since she didn't get an invite. I told her that I get that she's upset, but that was a family get-together for all the women and she's not family to them, so she's not entitled to an invitation. Opal began screaming at me how it was unfair and how since I'm considered family she should be considered too by extension, and that I owe it to her to make sure my family invites her next time since it's the least I could do for her as someone who got adopted. I told her I'm sorry she feels excluded and that she wasn't adopted, but neither my family nor I owe her anything before hanging up the phone. Since then I've been receiving non-stop texts calling me an evil jerk. I'm starting to second-guess myself and need an outside perspective on the situation.